Greetings, community. It's Kevin, Bench Being Comics, and my pre-order arrived. Yeah, Kai and I already did a show, and I already went through a bunch of books, and I am so excited to start reading that I didn't even wait for me to start logging in my stuff. I started breaking into it last night, and I was already, I've been so far behind in my reading. I caught up, almost 2 weeks ago. So I'm working so much. It's been painful. I haven't had an opportunity to jump into this stuff. I've had so much that when I received my box and organized everything, I couldn't contain myself. So I started reading. But hey, that's enough about me. It's all about you guys. Thank you for being here. Las Cruces, appreciate you being here as always, buddy. Happy holidays to you and yours. Mad Mike, you're the mikiest, and I don't think you're mad at all. And I appreciate you guys being here. Let me show you a few books that I got. Check it out. We're going to start it off right over here with Las Cruces. I appreciate you hanging out here again. You just got through seeing this whole show once with my son and I. But hey, check this out. Issue number 5 of the Last Ronin original story, but that's like it was like a multiple printing type version. But they came out with a whole volume of it. Issue number 4 and 3. And I got 2 and 1, last time. So, I'm good. I am so stoked. Yeah, dude, you're awesome. So, hey, Geiger, issue number 2. This finishes out the little mini that they end up doing. I'm loving this whole little universe that Jeff Johns and team has ended up building, and this is really cool. In my opinion, is probably one of the best post-apocalyptic stories being told out there right now. And there's so many of them that, hey, I know there's a variety for everyone, but for me, this is definitely it. It's full of random stuff, Mike. That's mostly true, Las Cruces. Doctor Strange, issue number 10. Here's another one that's where the team has done really well. This team has been kind of hanging out together, doing various other stuff. I love it when McKay does Spider-Woman. I think McKay is going to end up doing that whole Jackpot and Black Cat series that's coming out pretty soon. I got to look into that. I already know I ordered it. Didn't even look to see who was writing it. I blindly order shit like that. Callie, dude, appreciate you being here. Happy holidays. So yeah, this has been really, really good. And I love the relationship that Clea and Strange have. She's definitely showing that she has her own strengths. And the fact that her presence shows a different vulnerability that we've never really seen from Doctor. That it really offers a dynamic in the storytelling that is, to me, well appreciated. So yeah, I'm digging it. Animal Pound. This is a story told by Tom King and Tom King, told initially in a classic tale of Animal Farm, and there are about so many versions before. But what I'm getting at is, yeah, I've already read, the Ash Can, and I really have kind of touched through here, and I not only dig the message that it's always been told in so many different ways, but I like it in this version. So hey, it's to some it might be just mundane and done before, and to me it's just a new flavor. I think I've already kind of touched on that. That's why, you know what it is? I just got through reading Rare Flavors, and it really kind of touched on me on how perspectives can almost come across as just flavors. So I don't know. Yeah, I did hit Animal Castle also. So, I mean, again, it's essentially almost another, version of it. Devil Wars my face. So this is issue number 3. I think I have issue number 2 in there. You know what I'm going to do is keep this off to the side. It's a story by David Pepos, and he's also a writer that I have found that pretty much almost anything he writes, I like. Now, if it tends to be a character or a story that I'm not familiar with, and maybe in already a pre-established universe like Marvel or something like that, I'll give it a shot. And then finding out I'm digging it. But overall, when he does his stuff, his independent stuff, I totally dig what he does. I really like his style. Speaking of digging style, what's the furthest place from here? Now, this is a very unique story told by very unique individuals. And it does embrace not only pop culture in some regards in a post-apocalyptic world, but it shows it and holds it in a regard of almost in a savior sense, which in some regards it is. Like almost anything can be, depending on how you hold it in your heart. So yeah, it's a story of, love and death and just fucking weird circumstance, but overall it's something that I definitely appreciate. And I know it's coming to an end, so I'm savoring it all the more. Grim, mission number 15. Stephanie Phillips is killing it with the series, and it's probably one of the most consistent series out there, especially when it comes to independent books. This is exactly what, in my opinion, what I think anyone and everyone seeing this title would expect from a story like this, and just by reading its title. So it's one of those books that you can actually get a feeling by the title and the cover. It's cool. Digging this series. Hope that never goes away. Howard the Duck. I am such a huge fan that I'm actually slowly piecing together the original title. It's a story that I just find very humorous and amazing in the sense he's always surrounded himself by individuals of such great power, and he has none. Great intelligence, and he has little. He always is around in circumstances that he finds himself into that is so unique and so funny, in my opinion, that he gets himself out of this thing in such precarious ways. I don't know. I just love it. I think anybody who writes this stuff must have a fucking ball. Actually, I talked to Sadarsky, and he does. Firepower. Issue 29, second to the last one, the whole penultimate thing. This is actually starting to hurt. This has been a very consistent story written by an individual known to actually be rather wordy in his writing, and there's very little. There's so much action in this book. There's so much Chris Samney art and wit in the storytelling. What little there is in the storytelling, in my opinion, because there's so much being told in the art and in the subtle looks and facial expressions of some of these characters that I am so sad to see this go. But issue 29, I can't wait to read. All right, hey Ian, appreciate you being here, buddy. And let's talk about Book of Ronin, Volume 2, issue number 5. I think this finishes it out. And this, in my opinion, is definitely a book that it's probably best to read in a trade form. It just would be so much smoother waiting for it in this way, and how much content there is and how it reads. It's just, I think it would be a smoother read in a trade version. Yeah, it's just my opinion, but this has been nothing short of really, really good. Speaking of really, really good and borderlining on that excellence is Local Man. I'm loving how Fleeks is writing this book. It pays so much homage to the books of the 90s, but really in a very modern way. You know what I mean? It's this is a very well written book, and it just I'm digging it. This character, you feel bad. There's other times you're right there with him, backing him. Other times you're like, dude, you're an idiot. So this is awesome. He's definitely encapsulating and capturing a lot of emotion that's in this character and in the series, and you definitely get a lot out of that as you're reading it. So yeah, I don't think there's too many more issues of that to be had. Damien is he writes some wild stuff, and this book it doesn't tie in any way of his other books that he's written, which is like The Children of the Comet and Darkness books. You know, it has nothing to do with that. It's a total separate book. But I really love what he does, so I couldn't help myself but end up buying this. That's Squarebound. Yeah, it's a collection. So I assume it to be an anthology of stories that he's had over a period of years that he was dying to release. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to getting into this too. This finishes out. I believe this is issue number 5. Yep. Issue number 5, Children of the Comet. This finishes out the story of, I think it's the fourth volume of what Damien's doing in this universe. And it's a wonderful universe. You can't just decide to jump in anywhere. You have to go back in the beginning. So Children of the Comet is, like I said, the 4th volume, and you got to go all the way back to Something Into the Darkness. Welcome, believe me. If you're interested, hit me up on the DM or hit a comment down below, and I'll definitely reach out to you and tell you. But Damien Conley stuff is just so cool, so unique, so different, so dark, so awesome. Philadelphia, issue number 32. This expands what Rodney Barnes and Jason Alexander is doing in this universe, and it's pulling in characters you never thought you would ever see. Both Spawn, and now, you know, pretty soon we're going to end up seeing Savage Dragon come in here, and I've been welcoming it. You know, some others may not understand how this all ties together, but I think the storytelling is explaining it well enough that I'm in. So I've been enjoying it, and it's been cool. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. Speaking of which, I haven't got to read this. I do know I had an ability to read the issue on a digital version, but I didn't want to do that. So I'm dying to go ahead and get into this. This is Zach Kaplan's Beyond Real. And yeah, I can't wait to get into this miniseries. I really like what Zach does, and this looks really awesome. The team that he's put together, you know, is nothing short of just, look at the art. There's nothing short of just brilliant. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. Yeah, I think I already pre-ordered the whole thing. Alice Never After. Dan Panosian first started this book. This is the 2nd volume with Alice Ever After. And, you know, this poor girl goes through some shit. I really been enjoying this story. And to me, this explains a lot of the true Alice in Wonderland stories. And if you're into anything that's in the psychedelic realm, he ties in a lot of stuff that this poor little girl has to go through, both in her dependencies on psychoactives and other chemical dependencies. But she also in the fact that ends up showing you that other people a lot of times play, how should I say, that the worst counterpart you ever want. They're not a friend. So what he does is he does tell a well-written story in a book that, in my opinion, if you go grab both trades and read, tells a great a great variation of the story of Alice in Wonderland. Moving out from there, let's talk about over The Devil That Wears My Face. Right? Yeah, there we go. Issue number 2. Because I read issue number 1, but I definitely didn't read issue number 3. So this is a story by David Pepos, and I, you know, I'm so looking forward to getting into this thing. Being that he's hanging out with a team, Alex Cormack and Justin Birch. Yeah, this has already started out, in my opinion, to be nothing short of wonderful. So I'm looking forward to getting into issue 2 and 3. All right, moving on from there. Oh, there we go. Speaking of 2 and 3. Marvel Zombies. I love these little anthology stories. And I love Marvel Zombies. I've been collecting all that stuff since day one. More Kirkman stuff now I think about it. The original. So here's issue number 2. And issue number 3. Yeah, I like this black, white, and red stuff. You know, it's really cool. Peach. Getting all peachy. Careful, I'm going to Momoka all over you. All right, moving on from the Marvel Zombie stuff. We're going to talk about Dracula. Yeah. I love this classic monster stuff. Check this out, though. Did I do it right? Almost. I had a 50-50 shot. I will be careful when I read this, I promise. But this is issue 1 and 2, and 2 and 3 should be coming to me next month. Yeah. Why do I recognize this art? This looks like Jason Alexander stuff. Yeah, it is awesome. All right, sorry. I'm admiring it way too long. Oh, and I have a stat. All right, this is a local comic shop. Day. Ranger Academy issue number 1. Foil cover. Wow, that's a mouthful. It's very shiny too. And then issue number 3. There is the design variant along with the cover A. And it's been actually a rather, I almost want to say cute story. Because the way they actually tell it is nothing as hardcore as I thought it was going to be initially. The training there is a little, but it really touches on the idea of what if you had a chance to go ahead and be a ranger. 1, would you? And 2, could you? Could you handle it? And then all the other stuff that ties into it is, like I said, that's the cute part to me. Destiny's Gate, Ryan Cady. This falls on the heels of another book that he ended up just doing recently, and I love that. And this feels like some of the same. He was writing for a year, and he did like 3 stories, and they all have some of the same feeling. And I really even dig into Destiny's Gate. This has been a really dark story, and it's been really not just focusing on dark to be dark, but just it's an ambient feeling in the whole storytelling. So it's just overall creepy as you're reading, and it just creates an ambient feeling. Yeah, I can't put it any other way. So the whole time you're just like, Side tree. I've had this book, and all I did was actually logging in. I think this is, I gotta look to see up if this is like some special variant, because I think I paid extra money for this thing at the shop. And then this is my pre-order. Anyways, and then I have a Scotty version. And then here's the cover A, which I'll end up reading. Which I was reading all that stuff, as far as Surfer, Century, him coming back. It's not him separating. Powers go out. They're kind of being somewhat, I don't know, absorbed at this point into just random individuals, but doesn't, in my opinion, seem random. And again, that's what little I know. Can't wait to get into this, find out a little bit more. In my opinion, they're going to be all extracted and thrown into an individual. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to go there yet. I want to just enjoy the ride. So yeah, I mean, I actually did get to see some of the art, and the art's really cool. So I'm a slight Century fan, just slight. Lacious, I'm a U, Kit Wallace, and Michael Myers is really a cool person. So I want to go ahead and support them. And sometimes that's one of the reasons why I buy books, just support the shop, and or in the case of this, certain artists and or creators, or writers, or even letterers. But Kit, I mean, I like his style. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Seriously. Hey, I appreciate you being here. I try. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. All right, moving out. Secret Wars. Battle War issue number 1. Yeah, I already pre-ordered essentially the whole series, and I'm looking forward to jumping into it. To me, it was kind of a nostalgic buy, especially looking at some of the individuals that are writing for it. So I was like, hey. Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy, issue number 4. If you look at the team who writes for this, you end up seeing that Mars and Lim go way back all the way in the early 90s. And then, he's been doing some of the art and stuff with these guys, for like the past 5 years. So I love what these guys do, and all I can say is just keep doing it, and I'll keep buying it. I am a huge Surfer fan, let alone I'm a huge fan of this team doing the Surfer stuff. Venom 28. Great addition. making Black Widow a symbiote. This is probably one of the best editions of symbiotes that I've seen in quite a long time. And I can't agree with you more. All right, so I think I'm going to end up going backwards on this. I think, so this is going to be 40 with the variant. All right, Ski Chalet. And then I'm going to go 40 with a cover A. And then I'm going to go 39 with the Disney variant. And then I'm going to go 39 with the cover A. You can tell I'm a Gang War fan. 38. Yeah, I'm behind. It's a whole pre-order thing. It takes a little bit. Sorry. And then Gang War 1. So, yeah, I'm up to 37 at least. I'm just a little behind. But hey, Miles Morales, speaking of behind, here's 13. But I got 12 first. So I got to go through 12 to get 13. Which I kind of want to read the Gang War number 1 first. Get through 38, 39, and 40. Then hit Miles. Just a preference, but I think, in my opinion, from what I'm hearing, I think it'll make more sense. Just so I catch up. I don't want to screw anything up. I'll look inside the book. I know it always gives you that, in order thing. Oh, speaking of which, Uncanny Spider-Man, had to put it in order. 4 and 5. I got to catch up on the first 3 issues last week. And it wasn't anything I initially expected. And I need to stop having expectations like that. At the same point, oh my God, it was so good. It actually exceeded expectations. I thought it was going to go left. I thought it was something totally different. And when I ended up reading and where it ended up going, and I've not been following any of the X stuff, none of the Krakoa stuff, none what's happening in this whole mutant place. I do know that, between Gang War and everything else and what's happened with Luke Cage, it all ties together somewhat and essentially. So this to me kind of brought me up on what's kind of going on in some of the whole mutant universe thing. So this was a pleasure. It really was. Where am I at? I'm lost. All right, I'm found. Superior Spider-Man issue number 2. Now that Slott got signed on and he's doing this all this other work, in my opinion, what he's doing is he's trying to solidify Spider-Boy's place. So Superior Spider-Man, which is something that he was already doing anyways, touching on here and there with doing the Zero and knowing that he was going to do this, allowed him to plant little Easter eggs in places to allow to kind of justify Spider-Boy's place and allow him to be solidified in this Marvel universe. So this book, along with issue number 1, I think just aids in that building of Spider-Boy and his acceptance. And I've been digging this. I was never really a huge Superior Spider-Man fan. I thought it was okay. But, I'm now appreciating what he wrote in the past by reading what's here presently, if that makes sense. Immortal Thor issue number 5. I'm liking what's going on in this. Yeah, it's back. And I'm in the past 5 years, we got to see it start and now kind of almost go full circle with the storytelling. And I'm liking all the different variations of what we've seen from the various writers that have been contributing to Thor books and over the past few years. So it's been not only interesting to see this evolution, but almost a de-evolution by Ewing coming back, but still springboarding off some of the stories that have been told in the past years that he hasn't been writing. So it's been interesting, fun, and cool, all wrapped into one. Blade. Never a huge fan of Blade, but I definitely am now. Ever since the appearance of his daughter, and then now, to me, his susceptibility to others by the use of his daughter, if they want, as leverage against him, now offers a dynamic that we never seen in Blade before. Like I said, I was never really reading Blade stuff before, but since reading her stuff, then it, obviously involving and somewhat, touches of Blade in her books, made me knew that they were going to end up doing a series, and I've been wanting to read that. Now that I've been doing, Blade's been going on a journey I never thought I'd ever read. So this is pretty cool that between the relationship that he's had now with Dracula and now it's becoming having Dracula as his mentor. So this is wild. If you're even somewhat of a Blade fan, go that route. Hulk, issue number 7, and before I get there, issue number 6. This writer's been doing this story justice. And Hulk has been awesome. The past couple Hulks have been, I'm not talking about the writers or anything. I'm just saying that it's just been somewhat not me. And though I've been buying it and been trying to liking it, this is me. I'm digging this Hulk story. So I'm looking forward to definitely getting into 6/7 because, I'm not only behind, but the first 5 issues were freaking awesome. Black Science. Now, this is a Rick Remender story that was of old. I believe this is actually a 10th anniversary thing. Yeah, anyways, I'm not super up to date on the story. I just know of it. And after reading just a little brief summary, I am anxious to get in this story. To me, this is, sometimes you have to clean your palate with something. To me, I do the same thing with reading. So if I'm reading horror, all of a sudden I got to read something light. Or if I'm reading some kind of philosophical, now I got to read something real, just not, you know what I mean? So, I'm looking forward to this to being one of my palate cleansers. All right, Usagi. Boy, am I a Usagi Yojimbo fan. I am a huge Usagi Yojimbo fan. So I am definitely looking forward to getting into this issue number 3 of Ice and Snow. I love the relationship that Usagi has with his nephew. And I like these journeys that they're having. And the fact that they're now back over at Dark Horse, to me, is just like a reunion that needed to be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. Which I think I have another. There we are. Usagi Yojimbo, Death and Honor. Issue number 1 of 3, Space Usagi. Yeah, I dig the fact that, 1, they end up doing all these old stories, and 2, they end up doing them in a way that I get to see the art slightly updated and color and, so, and it's a lot easier to find the modern versions and a good, clean, definitely 9.6 plus book than to try to chase these damn things down and even something close. And I don't want to pay the money. So I'm cheap. Cheap. Hey, and to everyone hanging out with me, I appreciate you guys. Superior, dude, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Seriously. And we're almost there. So hey, let's start off with Silent Night, the whole Batman Santa Claus story. We got issue number 2 and 3. Yes, and even 4. After reading issue number 1, I really thought it was just a little gimmick thing that I was going to end up buying. I ended up buying a couple of covers of the rubby thing that smells like peppermint and thought it was cute. So I ended up reading it and liking it. That wasn't supposed to happen. So I ended up buying the whole series. It was freaking good. Not just the peppermint either. I'm talking the story. It was delicious. All right. Hey, here's a local comic shop day book for you. I really like the whole Berserker story. And the fact that they keep telling all these little side stories is not some little derivative money grab thing of something that you think that you already read before. It does give a little bit more of a deeper breakdown or a deeper understanding either into the character or the storyline that's portrayed in the original story. It's fucking good. I don't know how Matt keeps doing this because I keep buying it. And I keep thinking, oh, this is going to be something just cheesy. I'm not going to enjoy it anymore. And loving it. Shiny foil too. I mean, come on. Am I blinding you yet? I'm part crow, can't help it. All right, moving on from there. I got some cool little Spider Boy books. I got not one, but two of the 125s. Yeah, and I did get a 1/100, but I'm hanging it on the wall right now in the other room. Not going to get it. Sorry. The problem with these things is they both were delivered damaged. Now, I can only snivel so much, but yeah. So I'm going to try to see what I can do on the pressing, but they're damaged beyond, even get a 9.8 ever. But beyond even feeling too much snivels on that, I want to show you how pretty these things are. These things are freaking cool. The story, even better. I love Spider-Boy. This is such a cool story. Bailey Briggs I love that kid. The fact that he's going through all this stuff, poor kid, doesn't even have a true family to hang out with. He's just at a shelter. He's young. He's got to deal with all these powers. No one even knows who he is and that even ever existed before. Wow, I mean, there's so many different hooks that I keep getting yanked in on this character that I'm all in. Not just all in on just saying, oh, I'm gonna keep buying all this stuff. No. I am all in on this character. Unless they do something real stupid with this character, I love this kid. He's cool. He really is. So there's a couple A's. There's one of the D's, like an E, I think. All right. Or no, that was the D. That was the E. What the hell's going on in my life? All right. So there's the D. There's the E. Yeah, I do like these chalet covers. They are pretty cool. And Ramos, I mean, it's hard to deny. He's a talent. He's a freaking talent. So let's see if I can do this. There we go. Did I show one? Did I show one? How's that? All right, Flesh Eating Cheerleaders Holiday Special. I've always been a fan of this book for more than one reason. No, seriously, the articles are really good. The story of this is really good. The story of aliens come down. They realize that, hey, the best way to go ahead and reproduce is go ahead and utilize women to procreate because guys are just horny. So that's the simplest way I could put it down is people are just trying to take out all these aliens before they go ahead and go down the throats of all these girls and to try to take over the world. So yeah, let's see what I can do on oh, hey, damn it. I guess I can't show you anything. Hey, Air Spider. Dude, it's been a while. I appreciate you being here. I keep showing way too much. Yeah, no, I agree. All right, hey, Carnage. Issue 2, 125. This is a damn good cover. Now, I did read issue number 1 just last night. However, I haven't got to read issue number 2. I am not touching that cover. This thing looked, I mean, seriously, it's rare that I can actually get something rather, a solid 9.8. And that thing there's nothing hurting that thing anywhere. So when I saw that and as cheap as they were selling it, I go, I'll take that and don't touch it. No, seriously, don't touch it. I'll scan it. Give me the scanner. And then I put it right in my Storyfolio and I'm all safe. Here's the cover A. No, you're not the only one. I definitely recommend what I just said. What is that? Flesh Eating Cheerleaders from Outer Space. And here's the foil leak. Like I said, I'm part crow. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one either. All right. Hey, now, I am a huge fan of this whole Aragon universe. I'm digging what's happening. Kirkham is doing a great job, and he's assembling a really great team that's putting this universe together really well. I'm enjoying every story I've been getting at it. Void Rivals to me was just a brilliant way to introduce something that I don't think any of us really saw coming. So when you saw elements and Transformers of Duke, you saw that actually touching on what we knew to be G.I. Joe / Cobra Commander and all that. I was all in. I had no idea what we were going to receive is something far different than what we grew up with. I love the fact that G.I. Joe still in its writing has all that Go Joe, America type thing. I dig the writing of that. And to me, how it still embraces that Go America feeling is really cool. And Duke, after reading it, is by no exception just as wonderful. Duke was my blue light special for 12/27/2023. If you go back and check out what I ended up doing, every Tuesday I do a show called Kmart. My favorite, most anticipated read I refer to as my blue light special, which was Duke. It not only definitely exceeded my expectations, but it was something that I really hoped would paint the bigger world of what I was going to see. Not only that, but it paints a brutal world in which that I never thought I'd ever see in the Transformers G.I. Joe universe. So keep it coming. Seriously. So as far as the Dukes were concerned, well, I had to get a few of the 1 in 10s. Shit, they were selling them at cover price. I couldn't go wrong. And then this was the only sketch cover, which I'm a huge sketch cover fan. I don't know. I never get any work done. I got to get some work done. It was the only one I could find in over 4 different shops. I end up just walking by a shop that had sold out of all their Dukes. So I was like, I'm not going to go in there and look. But it just surprised me in how few this was the only one. So as far as Void Rivals, Duke, and Transformers are concerned, luckily enough, I do have now all sketch covers for each one of those titles. Speaking of Void Rivals, issue number 6. I haven't got to get into it, but I'm so looking forward to this. As a standalone book, Void Rivals is awesome. You don't have to know anything about the Transformers universe. You don't have to know anything about G.I. Joe. You don't have to know anything about any of that. This book is a standalone book. It just so happens to have elements of those things that I just mentioned, which to me, this was just a launching pad for those things. As a standalone book, this thing is wonderful. Again, Kirkman to me usually ends up killing me with too much dialogue, or he ends up taking dialogue in a place that is not supported by either the action or the art. It just falls flat. It doesn't support the story and the story that he's trying to tell, but just by filling it with a bunch of words. Of late, when it comes to, like I was mentioning before, Firepower and the 2.5+ years that he's been writing, and now with Void Rivals, he's just slapped me silly with stupidity in the sense that I don't have no idea what I'm talking about anymore when it comes to his style of writing. I love it. I love the fact that he can not necessarily saying I'm wrong or right as much as prove me that my expectations again fall flat on what he's been able to deliver. Void Rivals is a wonderful story that needs to be read by anybody that is a sci-fi fan and or is a person that just loves a good story that definitely encapsulates more than the standard protagonist, antagonist, the standard battles, the standard rivals that we think we see in most books and most stories. This is a great story. Seriously. Hey, look at that. We're going to end it in a good place. Transformers, read it. Finally got to read issue number 3. And the fact that they keep popping people like they're grapes makes me a little ill. This is not what I thought I was going to end up knowing of Transformers. It's definitely not what I grew up with. Dude, appreciate you being here, Cliff. Seriously. And it's just not sitting well with me. It's no short of slightly disturbing when I end up seeing what these robots doing and in pleasure. Seriously. But I'm getting a lot of pleasure reading it and I'm not going to stop. So that's just the way it's just going to be. So I end up getting a Transformers issue number 1/3 printing. As far as what they're creating in this whole universe, I'm all in. Seriously, I'm going to end up buying everything that comes out. The Cobra Commander, which I was never really reading stuff like that before. The whole G.I. Joe thing. I'm in. And the reason why is it seems like to me, like any good universe needs, it's supporting one another as opposed to utilizing one another as a crutch to go ahead and just do nothing more and seemingly at times nothing less and just sell copies of books. We as readers are looking for more in that, and even as a true spec person, you got to come to the conclusion that what you're speculating on is a good story. Right? I mean, what you're actually essentially saying is that something is done so well that either someone picks it up, a production team, I don't know, Paramount, I'm just choosing, or it gets locked in by a particular, manufacturer of, let's say, a toy company, Mattel, that you end up finding out that that's what you end up speculating on because you as an individual knew that that as a story stood alone well enough that should be recognized as others to be more than what it is, just a story. That's why I end up buying these little figures and all this other stuff or go see in the movies. Just saying. Keep doing this. I'm loving it. I'm not going to go buy your stuff as far as these figurines are concerned. But as far as the book is concerned, I am in on Transformers. I am in on G.I. Joe. I am in on Cobra Commander when it comes out. And yes, Void Rivals will be one of my regulars. And stop killing the rest of you guys with all my blabber and blibber. I'm going to let you go. But what I want to do is actually make one quick mention. That, hey, this is pretty much the last show that I'll end up doing for this year. Can't wait next year. With the fact that you got 7 of you guys hanging out with me, and Dude Marshall, I appreciate you being here. It fills my heart. Now, what I want to express to you is that I hope sincerely that all you guys have a healthy and happy whole new year, whole life in front of you. And I hope everything that has been coming up to this year has been exactly, everything that you can handle, a few books that you still can't believe that you got, and people in your life that are willing to be there no matter what. And that's pretty much it for me. Entropy. Appreciate you being here. And you stay well. Happy New Year.